Paint guns are one of those weird topics where everybody has an opinion, but objectively, nobody really talks about why they're good or why they're bad. And so I'm going to tell you which paint guns actually get you the best finish right off the gun after painting cars for so many years. And if you want to copy my homework, well, I've put it all together in a little community over on school.com. I call it Make It Match, and I go over everything you need to know from A to Z if you're just starting off in the automotive painting game or you want to level up your skill set, learn some new techniques that maybe you didn't know about. I've put it all together in Make It Match as part of a full course that you can take if you want, or if you just want to come and hang. Community chat's always open. Anyways, it's completely free to join. Hope to see you over there if you want to level up your paint game. If not, no worries. Let's get into the tier list. This one's going to be good. Okay, we're going to start off pretty strong here. So I'm going to be doing this based on paint guns themselves, not necessarily the manufacturers, because some manufacturers have really great guns and some of them have really great guns and really strong misses, if that makes any sense. Like the gun is just not objectively that good. So over the years, I've used so many different brands and so many paint guns. These are just my favorite paint guns. And these are the ones that I just keep coming back to time and time again. And then ultimately, they're the ones that I'm able to get the best finish right off the gun. And that doesn't really matter if I'm spraying epoxy, primer, base coat, clear coat. Maybe I'm doing a single stage paint. Maybe I'm doing like a urethane sealer or something like that. Each gun kind of has what it excels at and what it fails at. And I'm going to explain that as I go along. But these are more or less my favorite guns and the ones that ultimately I think are the best values for the money in the industry, at least at the time of making this video, which is May 14th, 2026. So my first gun, and this is one of my all-time favorite guns, and this is one that I have made so much money with and painted so many beautiful cars with. Specifically, this is the DeVilbiss GTI Pro Lite, or if you're stateside here, it's the Tekna Pro Lite. And they came with a couple different air caps. You could either get the TE10 or the TE20. The TE10 was a little bit better at breaking up clear coat and stuff like that, but it made a lot more of a mess. It wasted more material since it was a conventional gun. And then you could also custom order this gun with different air caps. And there's another one of these guns in this whole list that I'm going to talk about as well, because that air cap makes such a big difference, but it's very circumstantial. It depends on what kind of clear coat you're spraying. Oop, I'm covering up some of these paint guns. Oh, there we go. That's better. Okay, so the first paint gun that I'm going to talk about here is the Tekna Pro Lite, or the GTI Pro Lite, specifically with the TE20 air cap. And I'm going to move this right up here probably to a B tier. And the reason being is it's accurate, but it's not perfectly accurate, and it really depends on what kind of clear you're using. If you're using like an ultra high solids clear, I found that it wasn't quite as effective at breaking it up, but some of the best clear that I sprayed through this was Lessenol Pro Air Clear, and I was able to get finishes kind of like this straight off the gun without too much hassle, just right with this gun. And I give it a B tier because it's slow. The fan pattern is kind of narrow, so you really have to kind of slow down and work with it to be able to get the clear to lay down the way you want it to. And I think this is ultimately, if you're doing production painting, kind of what slows it down and makes it maybe not as valuable as some of the other guns here on this list. The next one that I want to talk about is the DeVilbiss DV1. And this is kind of an iteration upon the GTI Pro Lite. I'm going to give this a little bit more of a higher rank than the GTI Pro Lite because I think it's a little bit more technology. The way that the actual fluid tip is on it and the way that the air is dispersed through the air cap, I find that it atomizes clear coat a little bit better. And they have a base coat version of this as well that's blue. And that one's really good for fixing issues with metallics. So modeling and other tiger striping and stuff like that really works well. And I would give this kind of like a lower A tier. This is going to be like a 90% pass. And a couple things that I don't care for, specifically with this gun, is it's really sensitive to the viscosity of the clear coat that you're spraying. If you spray something kind of like a mid-solids or an upper mid-solids or a low high solids, like a pretty viscous high solids clear, something that's reduced, it atomizes beautifully. But if you put a really thick clear in it, like Sikkens Superior 250 or Axalta 72500S or something like that, you're going to find that it really slows down and it chokes up and you have to work with it and it is super slow. So you better have really slow reducer or else it's going to take so long to get that clear down. By the time you start on your panel and you finish on your panel, you're going to be getting dry overspray where you started because it's really super slow. Now to that same end, a gun that's not slow at all, but doesn't really atomize that well, that would be the DeVilbiss FLG-5. And I'm going to give this a pretty solid C tier. And the reason for that is the fact that despite its price point, because this is like $150, $160 for this paint gun, it's not terribly expensive. It takes a lot of shortcuts. The air cap is kind of janky. The threads, the way they thread on, not super nice. And it uses a ton of material. So you can get these with a 1/4 tip. And they do move material, and they work for clear coat, but I found that the atomization really isn't that precise on it, and it's a really chunky finish. And I painted this 98 GMC with it, and you can see it turned out decent, but the clear coat, I don't know, it just doesn't look right. It didn't break up all those little droplets of clear perfectly, and ultimately it's not really finessed as much as it could be. And I think for the money, there's a lot better options available, at least here in 2026. So if you're looking to get a gun for the first time, I wouldn't go after the DeVilbiss FLG-5. I would leave that one kind of on the shelf, if you will. The next gun that I'm going to talk about is the SATA 1500 B-Solv. And these are guns that are meant for solvent-based paint. So they're not necessarily treated internally to handle waterborne paint. The good news is they move a lot of material, but their ability to properly atomize and disperse really tricky metallic finishes, I'm talking about like really finicky silvers and golds and blues and stuff like that, I find that they just don't manipulate the base coat the way they need to. And as far as the clear coat goes, they don't lay it down as smooth as some of the other options on this list, especially for the price that they cost. They're between like $500 and $700 for one of these. You can pick them up used on eBay for a couple $100. But even given that, I think there's still better guns available for the money. Now, I've used them with a 1.3 conventional tip and a 1.4 HVLP tip, and they more or less both do the same thing. Conventionally, you get a little bit better atomization, moves a little bit less material, so it's better for clear coat. But the 1.4 with the HVLP is kind of my go-to sealer gun. It atomizes the sealer well enough, but it's not too fine where you get like that powder, that kind of like dispersion of dry sealer on the outside of the fringe edges of where you're spraying. So since it's HVLP, it doesn't have as much mess that it makes. You have better transfer efficiency, and I use it pretty much exclusively now for sealer. On that same token, though, the DeVilbiss GTI Pro Lite with a TE10 or TE20 air cap with a 1.4 fluid tip works really well for sealer as well. And most of the times that I'm spraying sealer, it's either going to be Lessenol Primer Pro or Wanda Sealer. I've used Chroma Sealer as well in the past, and they both work about the same for the Chroma Sealer. The Chroma Sealer is a little bit thinner than the Lessenol Primer Pro, but I find that the Primer Pro, the way that the China clay and the materials inside of that sealer actually behave, clump together nicer, and you get a smoother finish with the 1500 B-Solv, specifically with Primer Pro, for whatever that's worth. And so because of all these factors, I'm going to rank it probably, it's going to be a high B tier for me. So it's going to come in a little bit below the DeVilbiss GTI Pro Lite, because if I was buying either one of these, I would probably choose the Pro Lite over the 1500 B-Solv. Now moving on to the next paint gun that works really great for base coat, and that's going to be the Iwata LS-400. To this day, for transfer efficiency and smoothness of base coat, I have yet to find a paint gun that lays down base coat smoother and better atomized than the LS-400, especially if you're using Lessenol solvent base or a solvent base coat like Nason or Crossfire or DeBeers, Valspar, Chroma Base Chromax Pro, whatever they're calling it today, PPG DBC. It doesn't really matter. The trick is slowing the base coat speed down with a slow reducer and using this gun, and it's almost going to look like glass when it goes down. Really crazy. That being said, it is absolutely terrible, at least in my experience, at perfectly atomizing really fine metallics. I would get modeling like crazy with this gun. Now, maybe it was my technique. Maybe it was the reducer I was using. Maybe it was the base coat that I was using. But when I switched away from this gun and went over to my Tekna Basecoat Gun, those problems went away. Now, there is kind of the evil twin to this LS-400, and that is the WS-400. Specifically, they make a WS-400 with an HD tip that's meant for clear coat. And to this day, I have yet to find a better atomizing, faster, nicer gun to spray with than the WS-400, specifically with a 1.3 or a 1.4 tip, an HVLP tip, specifically with a 1.3 tip on it. I had a 1.4, and it almost moves a little bit too much material. It doesn't atomize it fine enough, and the peel is thicker. It looks chunkier when it comes out of the gun. But with that 1.3 tip, no matter what clear I sprayed through it, Superior 250, Lessenol Pro Air, some of the European clears, U-Pol clears, Finish 1 clear, Wanda, the list goes on and on. Every clear that I've put through this gun sprays absolutely wonderfully. It is really a nice gun. Because of that, I think that's going to be an S tier gun for me. Out of all the guns I've ever owned, that would be the one that I would buy first. I'm able to get finishes like this, this, and this straight off the gun with nothing more than this gun. Pretty cool. The next one, and this is probably one of the oldest guns in my entire arsenal of spray guns, and this is the Iwata LPH-400. Specifically, I got the Iwata LPH-400 with the LV, the silver air cap on it, specifically for spraying clear coat. And if you're not familiar with the LPH-400, it has like a tulip air cap, so it's meant to redistribute the overspray back in. So it has like turbulent air pattern that causes it to tulip back instead of fanning out. So I find I use a lot less material with it. It's very precise, a slow, methodical gun. Think of like the Tekna, kind of like a WRX STI, a Subaru that gets the job done, but you got to put your foot down. It's loud, it's crude, it's fast, but it works good. This would be the equivalent of like a Audi S5 or something like that. It's going to be refined, sophisticated, still relatively quick. They're both going to get you there at the end of the day, but this is by far the nicer gun to drive. It is a little bit slower, feels far more precise, and you really have to watch the air pressure coming into the gun to get the atomization right so it doesn't over-atomize the clear coat. Now, I've sprayed metallics through this, and unless you have the orange air cap or the purple air cap, I wouldn't recommend using it to spray fine metallics. The atomization and the metallic distribution just isn't as good as like the Tekna Basecoat Gun or the DeVilbiss DV1 Basecoat Gun. That being said, I'm still going to rank it pretty high here on an A tier. We're going to put it ahead of the DV1. I would buy it over the DV1 if I was buying another gun. Moving right along here, and this is an oldie but a goodie, and this is one of the first guns I ever sprayed with. This is the DeVilbiss GTI Millennium 2000. It's pretty old technology. The air cap, I dropped the first one I had and it bent the air cap. It's a steel gun. It's heavy. But some of my favorite paint jobs have come off this gun. I'm going to rank it a B tier gun. Still very competitive, and I would still certainly put it over the FLG-5, but it's not quite as good as these other guns on my list. Remember, closer to the letter here, I'm ranking higher. So that's how this is going. Now, this one's a big point of contention because these have sparked a lot of controversy online since they were first released. And this is the SATA 5500. The distribution pattern coming out of the air cap isn't even, but I was able to overcome it just by changing the way I sprayed. And I've sprayed some really great finishes with it, but this gun is fickle. It is sensitive to the clear that you use. I found that it works best on super high solids clears. Specifically, I have mine with a 1-2 tip in it and an I air cap. So it's going to be more of an Iwata fan profile because that's what I'm used to. I obviously sprayed with a fair amount of Iwata paint guns. That being said, I've been able to get some really nice finishes with Superior 250 in this gun. Specifically, I painted the 61 Starliner with this gun, and it ended up turning out like this. And I also sprayed the 69 Camaro with this gun. I'm going to rank it after the LPH-400. If I wasn't spraying ultra high solids clear, and I didn't need a gun like this, because this gun uses a ton of material. It is very inefficient in the way that it lays down paint. I would buy an LPH-400 any day over the 5500. Now, this one's kind of interesting, and I wanted to like this gun so much. It has a really nice carbon fiber body. It's beautifully constructed. It's lightweight. It feels elegant and agile, but it just doesn't atomize the clear right. I tried like 8 different kinds of clear through this, and the one that I could get to work was Lessenol Pro Air Slow. Anything else, it was just chunky, it was slow, it was thick. Not really my cup of tea. So because of that, I'm going to rank it as a C tier paint gun. Now remember, these are my own opinions. This is what I've been spraying over the last 20 years, and this is what I've ultimately chosen to refine back. I've sold all my other guns, and this is kind of like my arsenal of paint guns. Now, this one kind of threw me through a loop because I saw a lot of chat online about it. This specifically is the Harbor Freight Black Widow 1.3, and this is an HTE gun, high transfer efficiency. And I would liken it very closely to the DeVilbiss DV1, but it's a fraction of the price. The DV1 is going to set you back between like $500 and $700 without the digital gauge on it, depending on where you're at in the world. This regular retail price is $179 US. You can get it on sale for as low as like $100, $129. And I think for that price, it's an absolute fantastic value. Is it quite as good as the Iwata WS-400? No. Is it better than the SATA 5500? Yes. Because of that, I would actually take it over the LPH-400. It's going to bump up there on A tier for me. That being said, not all Harbor Freight guns are created equal. And you've probably seen them online. They're ubiquitous. These cheap guns, they're $14 on sale usually, $19 regular price or something like that. And they're kind of a throwaway gun. There's no serviceable parts inside. You use it until it stops working, you toss it, you buy another one. That's kind of the principle there. So because of this cheap Harbor Freight gun, I'm going to put this as a D tier. This is probably one of the lower ranking guns on my list. Mainly because of its lack of serviceable parts, its questionable atomization, and the fact that it's covered in oil. You have to really clean it. It's covered in manufacturing oil when you get it out of the box, and it's kind of a mess. The next one is the Finex FX-3000. And I've been using this as my base coat gun, and I found that it works really well. It's great. It has great transfer efficiency and it atomizes nicely. That being said, not quite as good as the LPH-400. But because of its price, it's going to bump its way up over all these other ones. I would buy this over these three guns. Now, another one is the 3M composite guns. These have interchangeable fluid tips that you can change out the needle sizes, the air cap, and everything like that. And then if you're using the PPS 2.0 system, they clip right onto the body of the gun. They're not quite as good, for instance, as like the WS-400 in my opinion, or the DV1, or even the Harbor Freight Black Widow. I would rank that above this, but I'm still going to give it a pretty solid high B tier. I would rank that below these 6 guns, or 7 guns if you consider the WS-400 sitting up there in S tier. This one was really tricky for me because on one hand, it moves material faster and the atomization is almost as good as the 5500. But on the other hand, it wastes more material and you really have to pay attention to its oval shaped fan pattern to get it to lay down right without heavy spots or runs or something like that. And you really have to move quick because this hoses material out. And it's a pretty wasteful gun, at least with the RP air cap on it. You're going to get finer atomization, but you're going to use a lot more material than some of these other guns. And because of that, I would take it less. I would put it like right here. Sure, I would rather have it over the 1500 B-Self, but I wouldn't rather have it over a Tekna Pro Lite, if that makes any sort of sense. Next is miniguns, and I've used a bunch of miniguns, but this is the one that I keep pretty much all the time on my bench, and I'm constantly using it for little things that I need to use, like plastic adhesion promoter and clear coat blender and base coat blender if I'm doing that. This is just a really great all-around gun. When you need good atomization, you don't need to use a ton of material, and you need something that's just going to get the job done and not put up any fuss and not give you weird distribution issues or anything like that with whatever you're spraying through it. And the price of these R160s is really great. Because of that, it's going straight up here in A tier. This is one of my favorite miniguns that I've ever picked up, especially for the money. It's a lot less than one of the mini SATAs or anything like that. And then finally, this is the Tekna Basecoat Gun. We're going to pretend that it's the Tekna Basecoat Gun. I realize the Tekna Basecoat Gun is blue, but this is the gun that I have sprayed base coat through for almost a decade now. And it's never let me down. It's been a great gun to get perfect atomization. It's kind of a funky gun because it uses less input pressure and it uses a ton of airflow, but it really accurately puts down metallics, and I've been able to get some of my best paint jobs ever with this gun. Because of that, I'm putting it right up here. This is the gun I would take above all of these other ones, but I still think the Harbor Freight Black Widow HTE for clear coat, unless you're going for the ultimate best of the Iwata WS-400. Honestly, I would take the Black Widow above all of these. Anyway, this is all just for fun. This is what I've experienced over all the years painting different clear coats. Some of my favorite clears right now, Wanda 2100 LV, Wanda 8100, Lessenol Pro Air Clear, and Sicken Superior 250. I'm kind of big fan of big paint. Well, if you don't know, Axalta and Axo are merging potentially at the end of this year. Going to become one of the biggest paint companies in the world, but they do make some decent products. Of course, there are a lot of other clears that you can use through these guns. SPI, Revolt. There's a lot of online brands that are going to spray just as nice through them. Anyway, this is just what I've experienced over all the years. And if you want to see exactly how I go about my painting process, how to get perfect paint every time, and ultimately how to level up your paint game so much more, well, I've started a little community over on school.com all about automotive painting. It's called Make It Match. Hope to see you over there. Anyways, that's it for today. I'll catch you in the next one.